is always your way to impress Jonathan Frakes.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. And as you bring us live, this is a wonderful thing to start with. There is a difference between Michael Caine and Jonathan Frakes. Because if we're going to go with the argument that Jonathan Frakes, who has already made a bunch of FU money, right, is doing this because he doesn't care and is getting a paycheck, that is literally saying, I don't care about the fans, I care about the paycheck, right? But
I
then
mean,
if
at
you're
least Michael Caine said, "Hey, I got a nice house for my mom."
right, Michael Caine is upfront about it. He's like, look, this movie was bad. This movie was always going to be bad. I don't hate the fans. I just love my house. Right?
I bought a
That's
really
legit.
nice house for my mom.
Right. That's legit.
There are a couple other people in Hollywood who said, "Listen, man, I need to remodel my house." Or Kevin Bacon has done some very bad things, but Sam Bankman-Fried stole a bunch of money from Kevin Bacon, among other people. So Kevin Bacon's had to replenish his income.
Well, I mean, we also have, same token, same energy. We've got one of the patron side saints of the gospel, Nick Cage, who literally, I think he's out of his tax problem, but he's also like, I do the movies I want to do, and I don't give a shit what people think about him.
Well, yeah, no, that's actually the thing. Nicolas Cage is all about what is the most interesting thing I could do from an acting perspective.
Right.
That's why he did the movie where it was the knockoff Five Nights at Freddy's that was actually kind of better than the Five Nights at Freddy's movies where he didn't talk.
Right.
So do
Hello,
we want to rip?
everybody.
Hello, everybody. So do we want to rip off and the Band-Aid and talk about The Bride and why it may be one of the worst movies ever committed to film?
Well, all right. So let me ask this. Well, if we're gonna jump right into it, just whip out the fucking tools and start cutting into the corpse. Is it also one of the most hilarious movies of all time? And
So here's the thing.
I don't mean
Here's the
hilarious
thing.
to watch. I mean hilarious in its disparity between how much money it's going to make or not make, and how much it costs to make.
I mean, the loss ratio is pretty funny, but no, the thing is, the movie it can't be so bad it's good because so bad it's good movies at least have some sort of awareness they are schlock at some
Right.
level.
I mean, this is why I said when you said we should watch this for the homework, I said should we watch Plan 9 from Outer Space as a palate cleanser? Because Plan 9 is bad. Plan
So
9 is famously bad, but Plan 9 has a lot of heart and authenticity from a known whack job.
so let me start with my biggest issue with the movie. They basically made Frankenstein and the Bride into Bonnie and Clyde. And instead of, Bonnie and Clyde robbing from the banks that were screwing people, which is why they were, folk heroes to people, um, they're just murdering people that are considered bad guys for third wave feminism. And that's why in the 1930s they're considered folk heroes to people. And I'm like, that's two terrible things that are combined together in a way that makes them both worse. I mean, Rune, you understand how awful and vile the heroic arc for Bonnie and Clyde is in our
I mean,
national history.
yes. I also was just talking about this with my friend Ty. We were watching another show that I mentioned off camera, and they asked me, it's like, why do Japanese entertainments treat their yakuza characters like they're men of honor, but we treat them like scum in America? Why are we down on the mafia? And I had to explain
Well,
that
that's a lot of
in
history. That's a lot of
right,
history.
right, but I had to explain that basically in America we go out of our way uh to falsify the mythologizing of our criminal cartels, because we cannot socially accept any longer that they had any positive purpose at any point in history. We don't want to
Well,
admit the idea of parallel power structures being a mechanism to social leveraging.
also the Yakuza weren't even a parallel power system; they were an implicit power system.
Right, but I'm saying when you talk about the American Mafia and its history, right, from 5 Points and Tammany onward, we really don't like to admit that there was a period in time when being a thug and or criminal was perhaps seen as a viable life choice because your other choices were starve in the gutter because the social systems and the infrastructure to help you was non-existent.
Also, the fact that street level drug dealers actually make less than people who work at McDonald's, but they
Right,
do it because of the status.
right. All of these things that modern media and modern society just do not want to engage because it,
So,
it is not seen as acceptable.
so I want to take the next thing I hate about this movie is, for some reason, the plot device is the person who becomes the bride has a brain tumor that has the voice of Mary Shelley, or at least her schizophrenic interpretation of Mary Shelley, come out
Okay,
at
to be
random points.
fair, if you have a brain tumor, that's whose voice you want it to have.
But it's not like what I would consider a historically accurate Mary Shelley. It's what if Mary Shelley was extremely vulgar and horny all the time.
So wait a
Also,
minute, you're
Bill
saying it
Clinton.
you're saying it's what if Mary Shelley was Lord Byron?
Yes,
Because Byron was at the weekend, and Byron was famously horny, vulgar, and fun.
yes, but when she's acting as Shelley, she's acting as the other Shelley. So, uh, or Lord Byron. I'm like going, but why though? Why are we doing this? And there's the creature. The creature's in this movie, and she has her little disassociative episodes, and at no point is Mary Shelley recognizing the creature. And I'm like, but why though? Why would you make this choice and do that? And this is something that is a problem for me with this movie beyond just the terrible plot, terrible characterization, terrible everything. It is vehemently distracting and not done in a way that you would think, oh, this is a farce. I should laugh at this. So it's a Bonnie and Clyde like scenario where, in several cases, the titular bride gets set up into a situation where she's almost raped, and then Frankenstein wakes up and maims somebody and allows her to finish off the kill,
Here's
usually
the
through cannibalism.
well. First of all, that doesn't sound like Bonnie and Clyde. That sounds like Starkweather and what's her name. But also, can I address an 800-pound gorilla in the room?
Yes, please.
The idea of Frankenstein and the bride, the Frankenstein's monster and the bride as Bonnie and Clyde is fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Let's compare this to a much better film that is a B grade darling. Okay? What is it? It's Near Dark, the
Yes.
Bill Paxton Lance Henriksen vampire film, right?
Mhm.
It's a neo-western and you've got these vampires running around basically being bank robbers and causing trouble, right? But it's about the death of their culture, their society. The idea that the West has changed in such a way that shit don't fly no more, right?
Mhm.
They are artifacts of a lifestyle in a world that doesn't exist. And in that story, they give you all the pieces, right? The kid who could be a vampire meets them, runs with them, gets to know them. All the bits are there. You're going to do a Frankenstein where Frankenstein or Bonnie and Clyde. You need the creator there to be the incipient event. You have to make
Well,
the creature, and you have to make the bride, and you have to make sure they
uh,
understand you're here to rob for me,
so let
right?
me let me let me
It,
get back to that. let me get back to that
Sure,
because
but
the creation of the bride, I think, is going to make you angrier.
probably. But my crux is that it's not, their relationship is not going to be based in some kind of weirdly protective, violent, ultra sexual romance, right? It's not going to be about things that the fucking modern politic want it to be about, because that's not a good story. And we're going to get to that because we're going to talk about Pixar a little bit later.
Yes, yes. So
You're not doing a therapy story about transsexualism, lesbianism, and toxic relationships. You're doing a horror movie for the general audience.
well, not the general audience, obviously, because
Right, because the general audience is literally walking out.
but so the movie opens first with Mary Shelley doing an opening narration talking about her sequel creation, The Bride. So that is terrible in and of itself. The person who is going to be the bride is a guma, as they would say in the parlance of the mafia in Chicago, and she's being groped around, and because she has the brain tumor, she has like a serious schizoid break, and the mob boss says, "Kill that bitch."
What brain did you use? Abby something. Abby something. Abby what? Abby normal. You put
Yeah.
an abnormal brain in a 7-foot tall gorilla?
Yes, but in this one, her boyfriend.
I'm sorry, I was channeling a much better film for a moment.
Yes, yes. So her boyfriend chucks her down the stairs, and it's a fairly brutal animated death of a person down a flight of stairs,
Because
including her legs snapping.
because we desperately need to show how awful men have been to women throughout history. Is that the intention here?
No. The movie's argument is that men are that awful now, all the time.
Oh no, obviously, but it's like at the same time, it's like, is that? I think this is a serious question that's going to ask us. Is that necessary for your narrative? Does this make a good story? I think the answer is no.
At no point in the construction of this movie did anyone ask if things were necessary, Rune. So we then fast forward. We get the date card and Chicago, and we see Christian Bale walking towards a science place. He's got on a hat and he's got on a mask, and he's asking to speak to a specific scientist who had some sort of scientist who had some sort of weird nonsense, and turns out that's played by Annette Bening, who I thought was Diane Keaton by the way they had her made up, which alarms me that Annette Bening looks that much like Diane Keaton, and Annette Bening was acting like she was on Quaaludes during the whole performance. And it turns out that even though
I mean, that might not have been acting, quite frankly.
yeah, and it turns out that Mary Shelley exists, the fiction of Frankenstein exists, but Frankenstein, the actual mad scientist, also exists in the universe of this movie.
Okay.
And she is super excited to look at one of Dr. Frankenstein's creations. And she does some tests. And he's like, hey, listen, you're the only person who knows this sort of science, and I want you to make me a mate. And she's like, bro, can't you just pay for hookers?
Yeah. More importantly, sir, aren't you almost 300 to 400 years old by now? I'm pretty sure you've tried.
Well, 100 and something. Because he's argued it's 18 something when this was all done. But we're
Wait. So, in addition to nobody asking, should we do this thing in the development of this thing, no one read the book?
Well, no, they're working off of a metafictional conceit that several adaptations of Frankenstein have done, that these events occurred contemporaneously to the weekend that Mary Shelley spent in Switzerland.
Right, but in the book, right, while Victor Frankenstein is alive for the Polar Expedition, which is the early part
Mhm.
of the 19th century, right? He is a man of the mid to latter previous century. He's
Mhm.
almost 100 years old then, right?
Mhm.
Which
Mhm.
means that if your setting is Bonnie and Clyde, and that's the early 20th century, your
Mhm.
monster is now almost 200 years old and some change.
Right, but again, they're using a different conceit, which which
Ugh.
then which then begs us the question. So what you're saying is Mary Shelley, the arguably the first major modern female author. You could make some arguments about a few other people, but she's the most major female literary figure that we can track back. She wrote about something that actually happened. That's how you as a are making a feminist film. That's the message you're sending. That is a bold move, in my opinion. A bold move to say, the most noteworthy female writer of the 19th century. She just did actually have the creativity to write the story, which was, by the way, her entire reason for writing the story. I mean, I remember that correctly, right? She wrote the story because her husband insulted her and implied she couldn't write a story.
No.
I'd heard some variation of that.
What
That
no, what it was is obviously Percy Shelley was a poet of some repute because he was hanging out with Byron, who was a poet and author of some repute. And in addition to
and,
Byron's sister, who was always there with them, they had his doctor, Polidori, who was a fucking weirdo because he's
well,
uh
hold up. Byron and Shelley are there, so that means he's probably in the gay conga
right. That's the thing, is that when you dig into it, the personalities involved, the implication is that Polidori would never really fit in with the gay Congo line or with the free love portions of the thing. He was a hanger on because he liked, associating with famous people. He hoped it would translate to him getting to be somebody, which it didn't, but he did write The Vampire,
line.
right? Which predates Bram Stoker by a fucking measure. Um but no, it was just a popular challenge uh in as a party game, right? A bunch of writers got together to drink and smoke and fuck and said, "Hey, let's all do competitive spooky stories. Best spooky story wins." Right? And Mary, who was younger than Percy and was sort of a darling of the group, went, "Okay, I'll try," and made a fucking legend.
Yeah, but still, don't you think that's insulting, the idea of taking that out of context out of her creativity and saying, no, she just ripped off a real life event?
Oh, it is, especially because we've already seen this story done much better in a different historical. Did you see the BBC Frankenstein with Sean Bean?
Yes.
I mean, come on.
But
It's a lot better, and Mary Shelley is a character in it.
but you know, back to the story for a moment. So
Yeah.
Net Benning, Dr. Frankenstein says, the ethical considerations and blah de blah, and Frankenstein's like, but yeah, YOLO though, right? And she's like, yeah, YOLO.
Right. I know you're being flippant, but I can also just imagine, because at the on the other end of that spectrum, we had Guillermo del Toro's Abortion,
See, I
and now
like
we
that movie.
and now we
Minus,
have this, right? And it's like, how long until we get the Leonardo DiCaprio Romeo and Juliet version of Frankenstein?
I mean, that wouldn't be bad though.
No, that was fucking awful. I hated that movie, and I would hate to see more things like that. What
I
if
mean,
Frankenstein's monster was a
what-
gangbanger with a gun? It's like,
What-
fuck you.
what part would Leo play now at this age? Would he play Dr. Frankenstein?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying he'd actually be Leonardo DiCaprio, although that would actually be interesting as Leonardo DiCaprio as Dr. Frankenstein. I'm saying that film that Leo desperately wants you to forget he made, that fucking made his goddamn career.
I love that movie. It's so dumb.
I mean, I also
It's great.
enjoyed that movie.
I mean, Ayrton, you are known not to have taste, and Larry is known to be a shit poster. These things are true. That movie is terrible, people.
But back to the movie.
Yes.
In question. She uses a miniature black hole in the 1930s to reanimate a dead body.
Wait, where the fuck did she get a miniature black hole?
Med science, don't worry about it. Because the black hole is symbolic of the emptiness inside you that makes you into a monster.
Black Dynamite, I am a member of the community. What the fuck?
And because she has dissociative identity disorder, and also because she took headed down a flight of stairs, her memory is kind of cocked up. And the doctor, who isn't really sure she's safe with Frankenstein, doesn't at some point in time say, "Hey, we got you out of a pauper's grave. We don't know who you are. We brought you back from the dead." Frank is like, "No, baby, everything's fine. We got married. You just had a little accident. The doctor took care of you." So Frankenstein gaslights her, but for good? Question mark. Because the film is very unclear until the end that you should have a negative opinion about it. But at the end, Frank is like, "Listen, I don't care who you are. You know, this is what happened to you. You're with me now forever."
Okay, look. It's real simple, okay? DC gave us the blueprint. Okay? Solomon Grundy, born on Monday. All right, that's how you do it.
But yeah, so she's being kept under observation for a while, and then she and Frank break out. Frank takes her to a movie theater, and they watch some sort of weird ass in-universe, dancing guy. I'm not entirely sure which famous dancing actor he's supposed to be. And all of their later Bonnie and Clyde.
They couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford a Cagney clip.
No. This is something way more homosexual than Cagney.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ!
It's somebody who does a lot of lovey-dovey musical dance number movies that Frank really liked, and he used that to adapt his gaslighting story.
It's back. Take a fucking drink.
Yeah.
So, Larry, you and I played World of Darkness together. You know that Adam, our friend Adam, played Promethean. Did you ever dive deep into that book?
I have, yes.
So you recall how the second edition book decided to replace all of the primary pronouns with second form pronouns for radfems, because everybody's Aziz or Jim, and this was because Prometheans are now inherently transsexual, which is fucking retarded.
Wait, Joe. You want to hold off on that argument because we haven't gotten to the Dyke / Drag King bar that they went to in the movie.
Well, you're going to get there, but I just want to point out that I can already see how this is going, because the implication is that by shambling around and being freaky monsters, the monster and his bride are stand-ins for alt lifestyle people. We are the monsters in your society, that we like the queerness. And it's like, this is a lame, tired, poorly formed analog. It's not good, and you can't do it, so stop doing it.
Look. There's lots of people who got tenure in gay studies
Wait,
programs doing
Rune,
that.
what if humans are actually the monsters?
So, we so eventually they find their way to a dyke slash drag king underground bar in Chicago in 1930. I don't understand any of how that happened.
I
But
mean, that's quite frankly, the existence of such a location is the least unlikely part of this story, and is still retarded.
and Frank watched her because Frank likes to be in the cuck chair,
Of course.
which is a
Okay, here's a
thematic thing.
philosophical question. Does it count as the cuck chair if it's another chick?
Yes.
It depends
Like
on
it
how you
doesn't.
use. No, it depends on how you use her as a chair.
Oh, see,
But
that's different. I thought you were talking about, is it the cuck chair if you're watching another chick? No, if she is the chair, that's not a cuck chair. That's different.
but somehow there was a group of heterosexual men at the dyke slash drag king bar. I don't know why,
Okay.
but it happened, and they all were like, "Hey, we want to rape you now."
And the various alt lifestyle people did not stop them.
They didn't know, but Frank got her out, and they then proceeded to chase them to continue with their desire to rape her. Now, Frank, after living 100 something years in this movie's continuity, Frank doesn't want to have an angry mob with pitchforks. He doesn't want that.
Well, no, he's learned fire bad.
He's learned
He
Fireback.
he was there when it was written.
But when his woman's about to be raped, you know, Frank does some violence, and so does she. But here's where I'm at. Like, if you're gonna be this fucking dumb with a movie, you need like full trauma levels of violence from Frankenstein in this situation, right? Or the Bride. If you're gonna be like this stupid about rad feminism stuff, you should have Frank like step on a guy's head and it smashes like a watermelon.
All right, so here's the thing. I am going to take this idea and I am going to make it into gold right now in front of you, even though it's a terrible idea from the get-go.
We'll see about that.
Okay. You
Mhm.
do a movie. Okay. You have a new doctor, and you stand in for Frankenstein, who is just interested in the science.
Is the new
Okay.
doctor going to be female or black?
Doesn't matter. Do both. Okay. Your actual villain is Adam the monster. Okay. Because
Mhm.
he has Frankenstein's notes. He has come to this doctor. He's like, I want you to make me a bride. Okay, why? That's for my reasons. Don't ask questions. Okay. It's like, did you succeed? Yeah, cool. Make me another one. What? I want more than one. You have to make me several. I mean, okay, science is
Hold up,
science.
hold up, hold up, hold up.
Okay.
We need to get a time machine. We need to go back to the
Okay.
1970s and give this to Ronnie Ray Moore so we
Yes.
can make Tim Frankenstein.
Yes. But here's the thing. Why would this evil version of Adam want multiple brides? Because he's going to pimp them out. He is going to make them second-class citizens and tools. And at some point, when our primary character, our heroine, the bride, is like, "Why are you doing this? This is evil and wrong," right? Right? You give the feminists the beat they want. They lack the skill to actually present, right? Which is Adam saying, "You're not people. I had you made in a lab." Right?
I mean, which is a fair argument.
Well, because in his isolation and in his hatred for mankind, because of his isolation, he's come to decide that the artificial women that he can have created for his purposes are not companions, they are property. Right? And being property, they have no rights and no opinions that he didn't give them. because he literally built them out of parts, right? And if you say that's awful and horrific, you say yes, and that's why we don't do it to other human beings. And people go, "Oh, that's a fucking movie."
So after they murder these characters from A Clockwork Orange, they're on the
Oh, we're
run.
not done yet.
No,
No,
we're not done yet. We're
there
not
is
done
no
yet.
escape, Ayrton. This is our life now. This forever.
I just described to you Act 1 of the movie,
God
and
damn it.
This story is
and
giving me an ass ache.
and Frankenstein tried to dismiss the bride, but she couldn't leave because she didn't know who she actually was. And they get on a train like hobos, and then they go to New York. There's a scene where Frankenstein like takes all the coins out of the fountain because apparently that was a thing poor people did back then, I guess. And then they go to some fancy party where various mob guys are and Hollywood entertainers. And she goes on a rant about how men rape and molest and do horrible things to women. And then one of the cops like moves up on her like, "Hey, lady, what the fuck?" She shoots the cop,
Nice.
and this starts her sequence as a folk hero. Now, there's a B plot of a investigator from Chicago and his secretary trying to capture the two monsters. Now, the investigator from Chicago knew the bride when she was a person, and he embedded her with the mafia because she had like a friend who got raped and killed by the mafia. Because of course they got raped and killed by the mafia.
Well, that's
And
all that men seem to do is rape and kill. I fucking hate this.
wait, it gets better, Rooney. Well, by better I mean even more awful. And kept her embedded with the mafia, even though the investigation was closed when she begged him to do something because he was having sex with her. And he was keeping her embedded in the mafia so he could bang her on the side.
See, this is the thing. I'm gonna wildly diverge again, but this is a serious problem I'm having. I am increasingly getting upset with this trend in our media and in our culture because it's a throwback to something that I learned about in the fucking 90s. Okay, which is this idea that a man with an opportunity is not potentially is a rapist.
Yes.
Right? You're in a room with a woman by herself. She has no friends. No one knows she's here. Better rape. It's like, no, this is not true. This has never been true. Scumbags exist, but that does not mean that every man you meet is a scumbag. And if they're not a
And
scumbag, that doesn't mean that they are some kind of soy latte fuckboy either.
so the movie has their going on a rampage, starting a revolution with people doing this. Also, there's a whole weird Sid and
Oh,
Nancy vibe.
it's always
It's
starting a revolution. We're always
yeah,
doing the revolution.
yeah. But it's also a weird Sid and Nancy vibe where she is Sid and Frank is Nancy, which is really fucking weird.
Well, because it's all about, the creative inversion of identity, Larry. We're
Yeah.
doing interesting things with identity.
So their rampage based off of musical rom-coms eventually ends in Niagara Falls,
I mean, that's
where
almost the correct place to do it.
she confronts Frank. Frank admits, yeah, baby, I was gaslighting you because, we brought you back from the dead. And I figured that was, he didn't use the word gaslight, but I figured that was better than just saying, yeah, we reanimated you as a corpse and I wanted to, be with you. Because that would probably cause you to be upset with me. And at that moment, she fell in love with Frankenstein.
It was at that moment that the actress portraying the bride realized she fucked up.
And then the mafia shoots Frankenstein through the head, and he dies.
Of course.
Uh, there's chaos. The bride shoots away. She gets back to Chicago with Frankenstein's remains and goes to the doctor, played by Annette Bening, and is like, "Hey, can you bring him back to life? I mean, we're just animated dead bodies." And she's like, "No, I'm just gonna do the science and do the autopsy of him." And she doesn't like that. The cops show up. The mafia shows up. There's a whole bunch of shooting. The bride is also dead. And then the secretary, who's become the new police detective, tells the doctor, do whatever you have to do. Basically, she's giving the doctor permission to bring the lovers back from the dead so that they can continue to exist, resting in power.
Murdering police officers with impunity.
Yeah, so this is an awful movie because the messaging is terrible. They are not subtle. Everything is on the nose. And if things were inferred or implied, you maybe could have done something with this movie. Like Frank and the bride is Bonnie and Clyde could have been interesting if they were robbing banks so that they could, make children or perfect their bodies so they could be capable of being normal people. You could have told some interesting stories with that angle.
No. Here's the thing. Let's take that. Let's go with that. You start the movie. They pull a job because they're pulling jobs to survive. Everybody's pulling jobs to survive. Frank gets injured in some fashion, gets shot, right? Well, Frankenstein didn't make a monster. Frankenstein made a man, right? So Adam is wounded, and it's actually like, oh shit, I might fucking die, right? And Christian Bale, they actually use his acting chops. Holy shit, let actors act, right? He's just spent the entire movie being wounded and kind of looking like shit, right? So now the bride has to do the driving, the planning, and help with the execution, right? Because they're gonna pull one more job to get the money to get Frank the help he needs so he doesn't die, so they can continue to exist together. That's a movie!
And that's a better vehicle for using a historical to tell current year politics.
Right!
So,
what if you change it up a little bit? Use Rune's premise, like he got wounded pulling a different job, and then they start like doing hits for the mob or something. But then when they whack people, they like take like body parts and start like replacing.
Legit.
I mean that would be like
that they kill for the mob, and then you could.
Dude, you take it the whole way.
Then you get like the standard like Irish New York cop who starts noticing like oh this body was missing an eye, this body was missing a hand, and he starts putting it together. And
well, hold up, Aaron.
You get something brilliant because you take that, you contextualize it historically. Okay, Adam is an enforcer for a rising mob power. Okay, right. The bride is his mall, right? And who do they work for? Boss Stein, right? Well, who's Stein, right? Sounds Jewish, sounds foreign, right? But that used to matter with the ethnic nature of the mobs, right?
Yeah.
So Boss Frankenstein is literally running a mafia, and he's making unkillable gangsters. And Adam is his right-hand dude.
I mean, that's a Roger Corman / Trauma kind of movie.
Yes!
And that gives me warm fuzzies thinking about it.
Put Christian Bale in a pinstripe suit with a fucking hat with a feather and a fucking Tommy gun. Go all in on how fucking ridiculous this is.
But yeah, I don't recommend you watch this movie. And
I swear, we need to sit down and just like start writing some scripts from these ideas and try and sell them to people.
I mean, the best part about that script is it's all public domain property.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
The only you'd be low budget, but I mean, you don't really need to for a movie like that, you don't need more than a couple $1 million.
Oh, oh, sweet. Okay, I have a
A
marketing
couple
idea.
million.
I have a marketing idea. So the cover of the CD case, the movie cover, what have you, the poster, okay, is a black pane, right, with a picture of like the silhouette of machinery with a body on it, right? And the title of the film is The Maker, right? In the same font as The Godfather.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I dig that idea. But I know we weren't going to go all in balls deep on Star Trek, but I want to talk a
All
little
right.
bit about. I want to talk a little bit about the 2 episodes.
We'll rub up against it and feel disgusted later.
Yes, yes. I want
The
to talk
lights will
about
come on in the club, and you'll realize it's a fat dude with a mullet.
Well, I mean, in the one episode, it was a fat chick, so it's kind of like a fat dude in a mullet. So they have an episode where I could have swore we talked about the group therapy episode.
We
but
did talk
did?
about group therapy episode. Here's the thing,
Shit.
even if we didn't talk about it the other week on show, I know you and I talked about it at some length.
So it was dumb for several reasons. First of all, the doctor goes to the planet of the
Therapy doesn't
hologram.
work.
Well, no.
Yeah, but this is not therapy. This is fetish therapy.
So the doctor, played by Robert Picardo, does acting, and he talks in an actor voice. But the kids are forced to go to theater class as a stealth way to talk about their trauma from an event that happened a couple of weeks ago.
And
Which isn't how trauma works.
right, and let's be clear, they had an opportunity to do something amazing and said, no, we don't want to do that, that's too weird, and instead decided to do the most normie of options. So very, very briefly, they take the kids to drama class, they set them down, they're like, you got to pick a play that you're all going to do together to work through your trauma. They don't say that's how they're going to do it, but that's what they're going to do. And the Klingon kid offers to do a Klingon opera, right? which involves not only all the things you'd expect a Klingon opera, so battle and conflict and passion, but the consuming of fucking alien like monster testicles.
Actually, I'm picturing like the what is it from Hitchhikers, the Vogons, with their notoriously bad, notoriously bad poetry. That's what I was thinking of.
That's the joke. The joke is you have them do this thing, and it's horribly horrible, but it has a lot of heart and a lot of significance, right? That's what you would actually do, right? And it would let you expand your world, give insights into the cultures and the themes of what makes this thing great. No, they did Our Town. The fucking what is it? Is it late 70s, mid 70s?
No,
fucking
no,
older,
older,
newer.
1938.
Jesus Christ! It is an awful fucking preppy fucking beatnik style fucking play. Larry, because Ayrton is a barbarian, please explain to him the evils of Our Town.
So it's about a ghost telling the story of her town, her people, and her friends as she's fading from existence. It's her telling that story for life. And they select Our Town because of the fat retarded hologram girl who starts dying.
Okay, and point of interest. What if they had done Cats?
Someone should have proposed Cats. In fact, this would have been a perfect time for a Kate to have been in the cast of the main protagonists. And so we have a cat recommending Cats. That would have been excellent. And then they
Hollywood.
did the.
I hate my job. I'll come right for you. Come on, Netflix.
And then they took
really.
the.
I'm not even that far away. probably like 6-hour drive.
Yeah, and then they take the fat hologram girl back to her home planet, and
Hey, but-
Robert Picardo re-raises her as a child. This is stupid.
Which is attended by the voice of the High Evolutionary, because we only hire 3 black guys for all roles.
It's just the rules.
Including Robert Downey Jr.
I
Yeah.
wish.
And then
Guys, can we please have the best version of Black Panther?
and then we
Marvel
have
has the chance to do something hilarious with this new movie.
and then we have the next episode, which is, the 2-part finale, where the main character boy, Gary Stu's mom, finally reveals herself because he didn't use a basic childhood nursery rhyme to decrypt a code. But they bring out the Omega Particle, which is an extremely obscure piece of Star Trek lore, where there's just basically a molecule that fucking destroys subspace, and the ability to do transportation and everything.
Let me append this by including that we use an incredibly cheap narrative tool that I have used as a GM that almost never works, and you shouldn't do it, which is to introduce the mom just so she can die in somebody's arms, and they can have,
Into a Disney movie?
drama.
Exactly. Anyway, so they set up a perimeter around the Federation, around 8 million light years of space, and they mine it. That was a little detail I missed when I watched the episode, by the way, Rune.
Well, that's the thing. They never actually say that it's mined, but the implication is that these are basically
No.
thermonuclear mines.
No. They do say that there's a force field barrier around the Federation space that if you cross it, it detonates the mines.
Right.
Which is incredibly stupid. So it sounds like they're trying to.
Here's the thing. It's not, but the context of how they did it was dumb.
But it sounds like
very, very briefly. DS9, you had a wormhole. We're gonna mine the entrance to the wormhole. Okay, what do we mine it with? Self-replicating mines. What do they look like? What's their size? They're tiny. They're almost invisible. Okay, so you can't really see them. They are magnetically drawn to you, and after they blow themselves up, they generate more. Cool. Makes sense, right? What are these? These aren't just mines. It's not just good enough that they're mines. They're thermonuclear mines. They're mines that just fuck up an entire section of space.
They're not thermonuclear mines.
No,
they're omega molecule
I know
mines.
they're using omega particles, but I'm saying that when you compare scale, okay, for the readers that are not nerds like us who don't know what the fucking omega particle is, okay, it doesn't just blow up in local. It doesn't just blow up a little bit of space. Okay, it perma fucks a region of space in all directions for decades. It is a massively destructive force.
It's actually centuries.
Right. This is not something that you mine with, because it is in fact destructive and bad for you and your opponent.
So, Rune, there was something you were going to talk about here for a bit.
Oh,
I need a quick second. So
which
I'll be right
thing?
Back.
There's so many things.
You got the driver's seat for a moment.
Read comics, kids. Let me look in our chat here, because maybe I proposed something. I know I threw in there how much money the bride is losing, but that was not the sum of everything that I've talked about. Yeah, you know what? Here, this is a wonderful thing. This palette cleanser. Did you see this this post from a Deadpool cosplayer?
Yes.
Okay.
That was awesome. Which I agree with. I am so tired of Deadpool.
I mean, I'm tired of Deadpool, but I really appreciate the humor.
It is very good.
I'm gonna do my best to throw this up on the screen for our viewers, if indeed we have viewers.
Well, Larry stepped away for a sec, so he won't be able to.
Right, but I can just leave it up in the share. I can be like,
Yeah,
it is here.
Oh,
Yeah, there we
never
go.
mind.
Okay, cool. All right, so this Deadpool cosplayer said for the people, funniest thing happened at Comic-Con today. I was walking around as Deadpool per usual, and a Foggy Nelson cosplayer with a She-Hulk tapped me on the shoulder to serve me these papers. I love it. What do these say? What did the papers say? Well, let's see. So the United States District Court for the Western District of Washington, from Walters and Murdoch, attorneys at law, has served Deadpool with United States of America versus Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, case number 0014356, in a criminal case, in Seattle, Washington. So that's an hour north of me. Deadpool was served. He has to be at courtroom 5 on 6/6, which is, I think, 6 is May? June.
Yes.
6 is June. So June 2023, I believe that means he's late, for multiple counts of murder in the first degree, unauthorized breaking of the fourth wall. And the issuing officer was Nick fucking Fury, as director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Signed by Jen Walters and Matt Murdock, obviously delivered by Foggy. This is amazing. This is the coolest shit.
Yes, this is the kind of nerddom that we need.
Yes. I know for anybody watching us who gives half a fuck what we have to say, which is probably no one, and that's probably for our health, that it comes off as though we are down on comics, on movies, on TV, on media in all of its forms.
Hey, hold up. I have talked about things that I like that are comics.
No,
in fact,
I know. I'm just saying in general. It often appears that we are pretty negative. This is just gold.
In fact,
so actually,
I have a movie.
I actually have something that leads into this. I don't know if the picture got sent to the group chat on Twitter, right? If you want to check that, Larry, I got a hilarious text message as I was getting home from work the other day.
I do have another story, but I will wait until after
hold up
thing, and then you've got a thing, Larry.
Hold up. This doesn't look like it's a legal document.
Right? So look at it very carefully.
I mean, I can't see it, so.
Well, no. There are several problems with the legal document. Give me a second so I can.
Problem number one: it was texted to me,
which is
at 4:43 Arizona time from a Chicago number
for the city of Detroit.
Yes.
All of these are highly questionable. Give me a second. But you see, the thing is, I was about to bring up. I saw a good movie. You see, I buried the lead. I've seen a good movie.
Okay.
It's a very good movie. 1 second. But first, let's look at this spurious legal document. So first, State of Michigan, in the Detroit Municipal Court, County of Wayne, case number blah, 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 Judge Ian Thompson, notice of hearing. You've been hereby notified that you have alleged to commit the following civil infractions within Detroit, Michigan, violation parking and prohibited blah, blah, blah. You see, here's the thing. For whoever did this,
I haven't been in Michigan in over a year, and I haven't been in the city of Detroit. I don't even remember the last time.
Yeah, here's the problem with this is that you would have had to have a date on here.
There is. The date is in the issue. There's an issue date at the bottom, which is in April.
That's the hearing date.
No, there's an issue. There,
no.
it says
What?
there's two dates on there. There's a hearing date, and at the bottom there's an issue date, which is also in April.
Oh,
No, that's
no,
what
no,
Larry's saying. That's when the paperwork was issued.
no,
Right.
no.
Yeah,
The
what's in the
paperwork
future?
well, hold up. It's in the future. It was issued
Right.
4 days before the hearing.
Right. What I'm saying is that Larry is saying, and he's correct, there should be a statement of the date you supposedly did the action.
Oh well, yeah.
Yes. So
Right.
so those are both incorrect. Also, I'm not sure if that's the seal of Detroit.
That's
No, I mean, that's clearly not a seal, Larry. It's clearly two deers humping a box.
that's vaguely the seal of the state of Michigan.
Do you
And
guys
I
not know
just
what a seal looks like? I've seen what a seal looks like. It doesn't look like a deer.
no, it's two deer.
So
I'll
deer
take my
equal one
I'll
seal.
take my
And-
I'll take my unwanted puns away.
No, I'm saying two deer equal one seal.
Oh, okay.
so
And then also, if you want to see, I also sent you what my response was. And
so the good thing I saw that I was bearing the lead about, our boy Alan Ritchson, also known as Jack Reacher, did a movie that was on Netflix called War Machine. It was not an adaptation of the War Machine comic book, but the movie asks a basic question: is Jack Reacher big enough to fight space aliens?
Mm.
And the answer to that question is, of course he is. He's Jack Reacher.
Right.
So he plays a stock army character, who I'm going to be calling for the rest of this review Jack Reacher, because Jack Reacher is a stock army character, and he also has a brother in this movie that dies a tragic death. You know who else who had a brother who died a tragic?
Quick question. Would Jack Reacher be a better Frankenstein's monster than Christian Bale?
I would absolutely cast Alan Ritchson in a Frankenstein's monster movie.
Yes.
Absolutely. So Distaff Jack Reacher and his brother are in the Army Corps of Engineers as support forces in Afghanistan. His brother's like saying, "Come on, man, we always said we are going to go into the Rangers together." And he was like, "Man, we're both old and you're ugly. And remember, we also said we were going to do a thrash band." And he's like, "Yeah, we can still do that." And they get attacked by the Taliban. There's some military shenanigans nonsense. And then we wake up with Jack Reacher making his attempt to get into Ranger School, which he's done instead of getting, treatment for post-traumatic stress, which is, not ideal. It's not ideal.
yeah, PTSD and 2 reviews.
Yeah, exactly. But this is actual PTSD because he's fine until he has to confront, people getting killed by aliens. But we'll get to that in a minute. He's acing all the Ranger tests, but he's not doing good on the people side of thing. And there is stock black character.
Did I tell my PTSD joke on this show yet?
You might have.
That I have PTSD, pretty tiny small dick.
Yes, you told that joke.
Okay, just make
So in the background, they're talking about in the news, hey, there's a weird asteroid thingamajiggy coming towards Earth. But, it's outer space stuff. Don't worry about it. This is a military movie, honest. And, I'm 100% okay with all of that. The powers that be in the Rangers are like going, hey, Jack Reacher, you're cool and everything, but you should probably get some goddamn mental health therapy. And he's like, you know what? Go fuck yourselves. I'm just going to join the Rangers anyway without mental health therapy. And they're like, I don't know.
No. He's not into mental health therapy. He's into murder health therapy. He's going to murder himself to health, and that's his therapy.
But, their basic conversation is, I mean, we shouldn't let him go through. But yeah, but he is really big, and he can solve problems by being really big and hitting.
Look, other roles for Alan Richardson, Doom Guy. Okay, I want to
I
see
would
him
watch
rip
that.
open a demon and say, "You're full of guts, rip and tear," and I want to see him eat those guts.
So he goes on his final exam for Ranger School. He's assigned to be the team leader because while the black guy is a better fit for being team leader, Alan Richardson has a goddamn silver star. So
And, I mean, have you seen that guy? He's part Winnebago.
exactly. And we don't mean the Indian tribe. But yeah, so they go on their mission and they see the thing they think they're supposed to bomb. And they're going, man, they really went all out on the special effects. And it was actually an alien spaceship. So they go to blow it up, thinking it's like a experimental military craft they're supposed to blow up on the test. And then we all of a sudden get a BattleTech type mech from Aliens. And it proceeds to mow people down. But and then it's all about survival, escaping the machine. And then Alan Richardson catches, as this Jack Reacher, catches the key to defeating the alien technology, which is physics works no matter what you want it to do. So this alien technology has heat, so it has to have vents to keep the heat from overheating the machinery. So he lures the alien machine into a place where he could dump a bunch of rocks into it. And then it jams up its heating vents, and the thing dies. And it drops all of its grenades as a fuck you to him. He escapes. He takes his lone survivor back to Ranger base camp, and he debriefs the command staff, who has to deal with the fact of, okay, we got an alien invasion. This is a problem. And they're like, so son, how in the fuck did you kill one of those things? And he said, it's got vents. I just jammed up the vents. And they said, son, you're now a ranger. What you did is sufficient to show you have all the right ranger qualities and you've saved millions of lives potentially. And then he becomes the guy who does the training for all the new rangers.
So I am sorry I have to shit talk this what sounds like a very fun movie. You just described Diet Predator.
Well, yes, but instead of it being a human-sized alien, it's a giant robot shooting people down.
Right, it's a giant robot which Alan Richardson as Arnold Schwarzenegger defeats with Boy Scout technology.
Well, yes.
That frankly anyone should have been able to figure out if they were halfway intelligent.
Well, yes, but anybody else who could have figured that out in his ranger unit ended up getting killed by the machine.
Right. No, it's again, to use your linguistic cue. In this movie, Jack Reacher is Jack Reacher, played by Jack Reacher, and Jack Reacher must defeat the aliens with Jack Reacherism. He has to give them the Jack Reacher round.
But
no,
again,
that's the prison movie he's gonna star in.
But
I've seen that clip. He kills 3 dudes in a shower.
but to give you an idea about what he's got coming up on his acting credits, he has another season of Reacher, because I mean that's just a license for him to get money. The movie Bad Seeds of Loving Spring. A cursed gunman and his nemesis, a sadistic sheriff, enlist a fearless bounty hunting woman to track down a legendary serial killer who they believe spawned by their childhood sins. And he's directing this movie. There's the movie Counting Miracles. An ex-ranger returns to his hometown. Hey, he played a ranger in this movie. So maybe he comes back to his hometown after defeating the space alien.
Is it the same ranger?
I mean, it should be. That's what
But
I
by
would
the
do.
way, one of my earbuds was dying. It was the one in my good ear, so I put the one in my bad ear
You know-
in my good ear. So if my audio is coming through like upside down or something, let me know.
You know what? Normally I wouldn't advise this sort of thing, and I still want to say the original is a fucking piece of art. But if they grabbed Alan Richardson and they said, "Hey, buddy, we want you to do a remake of First Blood," I would be down.
Well, they actually have the kid who was in that CIA recruit show on Amazon I liked. They've recruited him to be that. They also have him playing a character in a discount. What was that movie that fucking the bald British guy did where he was the transporter? They have him doing
Jason
his version.
Statham.
Yeah, they have him doing his version of the transporter. He's also directing a
Look.
movie with Arnold about Santa getting his magic bag stolen.
Look, guys, let's just do the movie we really want, okay?
Hold up,
Get
hold
back
up,
the original. Get back the original crew. Let's just do a sequel to the one.
hold up, bro, hold up. Arnold Schwarzenegger's gonna play Santa in a movie.
Yes.
That's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah,
I don't know, man, because
I want to see
Mel
that.
Gibson. I don't know, because like Mel Gibson played Santa in a movie, and it was kind of eh.
Now, what if
Yeah,
we do
but
a movie about
he was-
about a transsexual taxi driver in New York City and call it The Transporter?
See, we can't. Actually, I have a good reason we can't have that movie. We can't have that movie because Tim Curry can't act in it.
Okay, fair.
So,
I mean, he could.
so
I mean, sure, but let's face it. Tim Curry is the most famous transsexual from Transsexual Transylvania that you have ever known.
and he's gonna be doing an Amazon
Actually, I would
movie
love
where he
that.
and he's gonna be doing an Amazon movie where he plays a Navy SEAL, even though he has the wrong body type for being a Navy SEAL, who was a legendary SEAL from Vietnam.
Alan Richardson.
Yes.
Yeah,
because
Does Tim
sorry.
Curry have a Twitter? Because I'm going to start just tagging him every single day and say, hey, I have a movie I want you to star in.
Look,
Tim
might, but be nice to Tim Curry. He's not doing well.
He is
he's
old and fragile and British.
no, he's got
No.
some cancer.
He's got some cancer and he had a stroke. The man is in a wheelchair and he looks like 3 steps from death's door. It's sad. He's still really positive. He's a very nice man, but it's like, Jesus Christ, Tim, you were so vigorous and full of life, and now you're kind of like fucking awful.
I mean that is how it be sometimes.
That is how getting old be, yeah.
So something came across my Twitter feed about how Millie Bobby Brown talked about how she worked with Henry Cavill and Enola Holmes. He set clear boundaries because she was only 15 at the time, and he wanted to keep their relationship strictly professional. In an interview, Millie explained that Cavill had terms and conditions, jokingly that whenever she tried to ask him about his personal life, he would quickly shut it down with a simple "Millie, no." To which she would reply, "Understood."
Because Henry Cavill doesn't want to get suspected of cancellation. Jesus Christ.
Yes. She said she actually respected that a lot, describing him as someone who's naturally more private and reserved. She also noted that their dynamic felt more adult and professional compared to the playful friendships that she shared with her Stranger Things castmates, emphasizing that Cavill's approach helped maintain a respectful and appropriate working environment when they filmed together. You know, I think we should take a moment and ponder why it is that it's considered noteworthy that a Hollywood celebrity wanted to avoid
Doesn't
any
diddle a 15-year-old.
That was exactly where I was
No.
thinking. Yeah.
No, let's take this a step further. Can we talk about how fucking horrifying it is that a perfectly capable man with no interest in a young woman who is clearly his junior and not of age is so terrified that he might be accused of malfeasance that he has to go to these above and beyond steps to ensure that he is not accused of something unseemly?
I mean,
Just
let's
to
not
have
forget,
human decency?
I mean, let's not forget Keanu Reeves is the master of the hover hand.
The what?
The hover hand.
The
You don't know
fuck
the
is
hover
that?
hand?
Oh, you don't know about the hover hand? So if you look at pictures Keanu Reeves takes with fans, his hands are always clearly not touching female fans.
like he'll have his arm around him, but his hand is like an inch or two away from actually touching him.
He has a massive hover hand game.
I understand why they do it, and I respect it, but I'm also deeply offended that we live in a society that has to be like this.
Yeah. But I also have to say, maybe Henry could have respected boundaries more by not doing those Enola Holmes movies, because those were terrible. That would have been an even better way to respect her boundaries, by not making those movies. So Rune, you said you were getting into the rest of the second season of Beastars.
Yeah, just give me a second.
So Ayrton, you
Yes.
you saw a Dankula video that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah. Well, since, as you guys know, I am horribly uncultured with pop culture, and I've never read nor seen Dune, so I wanted your guys' thoughts on his theory that Dune caused 9/11, because it's very compelling to me. But
I mean, it's complicated because all of your Middle Eastern terrorist types were exposed to the Soviets, who were exposed to the pre-existing Russian tradition of going boom. So there are multiple vectors. Admittedly, it was funny to think about, young Osama bin Laden and the like, thinking, man, that Paul Atreides guy was really badass. And he exploded. And yeah, we could totally do that. That was my thought.
it sounds plausible at the very least.
Also, I don't know how popular or how well translated it was into Arabic.
Didn't he touch on it in the video? I thought he said it got fairly popular in the 70s or whatever in the Middle East.
It did. So, but the thing is, that might have been more in Lebanon because they're more cultured, or at least they were until people.
Then why don't we have a bunch of lesbian suicide bombers?
No, Lebanon, not lesbian. Lesbian is affiliated with the Isle of Lesbos, which is in Greece.
Which is worse because they invented it.
Well, I mean, it's because there was a poet that was attributed to being a lesbian. So, did you watch the Dankula video that?
God damn it, Heather!
That Ayrton recommended.
I did not get a chance to read it or to view it because, as stated, I was watching Beastars.
Yeah, so let's talk about the third season of Beastars.
All right,
season 1. I watched season 2. Season 3 was kind of
Well, let's address the 8 million pound gorilla in the room. Beastars is not for you if you don't like Animu. That's right off the top. Okay. The second thing is that Beastars
when you said million-pound gorilla, I totally was expecting Church to bust through the door right now, like the Kool-Aid
Man. But the next thing is that if you go in at the surface, I'm not even going to deny it. I'm not going to try to deny it. Beastars is furry trash.
So,
but
my
perspective
on my perspective on the first 2 seasons is season 1 is an interesting slice of life of the murder mystery,
right,
with a layer of furry on top of it.
Right.
Season 2 is a mystery with a little slide in of shonen, with a furry coat on top of it.
Right.
And season 3 is, my understanding, is their attempt to close the whole multi-arc saga of this series.
Yeah, and they broke it up into 2 sub-seasons, which is a thing that's currently in vogue in Japan. I actually fucking hate it. Instead of doing one 24-episode season, they did 2 12-episode half seasons. And I'm watching the second half because the second half came out yesterday. But no, here's the thing. I know I've talked about it on the show before, but did you guys ever actually get a chance to read Black Sod?
No.
Okay, Black Sod is a comic. It's done. It's I want to say it's French, but it's available in English. It is hand painted. It's beautiful. It's
Good, because
furry, but
I speak French, but I just refuse to out of spite.
I mean, sure.
I mean,
But
that is one of the most French things you could do.
But the important thing is that it's a film noir. Okay, it's a detective story, and in the introduction, the author describes why and how animal characters were used. They're not just furry for the sake of being furry. That's actual furry trash. The idea in Black Sod is that the various characterizations and personalities are reflected in the animals that are selected to represent the characters, and to a lesser extent, the ethnicities involved. So, as a for instance, most people in Black Sod are some kind of furry animal, but all the black people are reptiles, right?
That's fitting.
And it is straight up played for straight that there's a strict cultural divide. If you're a person with fur who goes into the wrong fucking club in the wrong part of town in the vaguely 1950s post-war America that is Black Sod, you will get the shit kicked out of you, right? And so when you start trying to place what actor would be what character, there's a language to it. There's a code. You can identify who is what and why they've been selected or what style of person they are by their characterization and their literal physiological character, right? It's why in the second run of Black Sod, when they deal with the clan, the leader of the clan is a giant white polar bear. It's like, yep, that makes perfect sense.
Also expecting Church to bust through the door.
Right.
Cool.
So Beastars is the same. The characters and their physical appearances are coincidental. It's not furry because it has to be furry. It's furry because it is using furry as a proxy to talk about deeper matters, which is why it's great.
Like how they had a chicken girl who was all in on making eggs because it was her way to support her society by creating protein sources that the predators could eat that weren't people.
Right.
What's the name of the books? The children's fantasy book, Redwall.
Redwall is not like that, but Redwall is great.
I thought they used I thought the animals were like analogs of different human traits.
They are, but they aren't. Redwall has some very different trope problems that have become worse since Brian Jacques died, and people have been trying to turn him into a saint.
But Redwall is not furry trash, or at least the early ones.
It is just anthropomorphic fiction. It is fiction that happens to involve animal people. Beastars is the same. It's not actually furry trash. It's actually deep. The thing is,
I've seen some pictures of some furry trash that also goes pretty deep, if you know what I mean.
Elbow. I mean, sure, but no. The thing is that for the people who have not possibly seen it, Beastars follows the star-crossed and possibly doomed relationship of a half wolf, half Komodo dragon named Legoshi, and the woman he is interested in, a rabbit named Haru.
Well, hold up. Don't forget that Legoshi is named after Bela Lugosi.
He is named after Bela Lugosi, and he is on the drama club and works theater, and he is very much presented as a Phantom of the Opera. The guy who made this had a lot of layers going on and knew what the fuck he was doing. We really need to give credit where credit's going.
And Haru's a rabbit, which means she's also kind of slutty.
Wait, isn't that what's the movie? Zootopia?
Well, no, that's the thing. Zootopia has a lot of Beastars adjacent layers, but Beastars is smarter than Zootopia for dealing with the same thing. So, for instance, we'll make a comparison. Beastars has herbivores and carnivores living in close proximity and vaguely in conflict. There's social disparity, right? Because herbivores are very aware that predators want to eat them, right? But the society says this is wrong and has exerted great effort to put a stop to it, right?
But there's a whole weird black market that enables them to eat people.
Right. There are social
we're getting
structures
some
that empower.
Epstein shit.
There are some social structures that empower things you're not supposed to do because they recognize that if you tell people don't do this, they'll want to do it. Right? You compare that to Zootopia, where the implicit herbivore versus carnivore racism is literally Disneyfied. They pull all the teeth out of it. It's not really dangerous. It's just, why can't we all just get along? Well, the answer why we can't get along is because of shame and social bias.
And also the Legoshi and Haru relationship gets into a weird thing where he's sexually attracted to her because he kind of wanted to eat her,
Right.
and then it transformed,
but-
which is
I mean,
connected
that's
to that
fair.
one weird, which is connected to that one creepy serial killer in Japan who later became a porn star
Right.
with porn centered around eating people.
But here's the thing. The primary thrust of this in a meta-contextual sense, right, is Legoshi and Haru's relationship, which is perfectly fine, there's nothing wrong with it, is also kind of verboten, and he is outright castigated as a pervert. Because people know it's weird that a predator should want to be with a prey animal. But they obviously actually care for each other, and it's kind of awesome. Right? And that brings us to the third season. In the second half of the third season, there is a dude on the loose in this society, in this deeply damaged, bifurcated society, who is a straight up psycho. He is a straight up fucking monster, right? But because he is also a hybrid of a predatory species and a prey species, he's a part gazelle, part leopard. And because he has had a fucking hard time with his life, he has just decided that he is justified in doing whatever the fuck he wants, whenever the fuck he wants to do it, and that if people are going to die, that's just how things are. And he is a straight up fucking awful being. And we have our main character being like, I want to stop him, but I'm afraid of the person I have to be to do that. And it's like, bro, the longer it takes you to decide that he's gonna fucking die, the more people are gonna suffer.
Well, I mean, Legoshi has to eat a person to be able to stop him.
That is the belief, but I don't think it's actually true. I think he can find a wellspring of personal strength that does not involve cannibalism. I mean, it's not like that fucker fights fair anyway. He's using a goddamn gun like a puss.
And then there's also his best friend who was a prey animal who decided, you know what, I'm going to take over the lion Yakuza.
Yeah, which is just... I'm not a fan of Lewis. Lewis is my least favorite character. The only person more aggravating is Juno.
By the way, I just want to point out real quick, mostly because my wife is listening in the other room, that I am currently multitasking, participating in the show, grinding in Pokemon Yellow, and playing with the dog. So I don't want to hear none of that men can't multitask shit.
Well, according to Heather, this conversation is giving Twilight vibes, and I guess that's true if you don't read.
Well, I mean, look. If you've read Twilight, you don't want to read anything else because you've been scarred for life about reading.
It's true.
I'm pretty sure it takes away your ability to read if you do.
Yeah, the actual answer here is that Twilight has damaged reading for everyone for a generation. Stephanie Meyer is the greatest monster in history.
No, 50 Shades of Grey girl is worse because that was Twilight fan fiction.
Oh, no. Did you not read the Stephanie Meyer reverse Twilight book?
No.
So she rewrote the first book from Edward's perspective, and it was all about...
I've never even heard of this.
Like 5 or 6 years ago? I think it
Oh.
was, or maybe a little bit further back than that. But it was all about how, man, this chick looks so delicious. I just want to eat her and murder her, and like leave
Okay.
her in a ditch.
Okay, to anyone listening to this, if you are a faster writer than I am, okay, take this idea, okay, respin it, do a book called The Edward Files, and tell us about the island where the vampires take the people they want to eat. Okay? I'm sorry. Twilight is about the adventures of a 200-year-old pedophile. All right?
But
As those of us in the World of Darkness community have joked,
he's eternally 17, though, Rune. Come on.
it is actually a terrible idea that characters don't have some resources, some money to start with, because if you have lived 400 years and you don't have money, just walk into the fucking sun. Okay? You fucking failed at life if you are broke despite being an ancient monster.
That is actually a cross vampire game conversation I've had with multiple players in multiple vampire settings.
Okay, so we have a setting with a bunch of vampires that just suck at being eternal monsters, and they live in a trailer park down in Alabama.
Here's the thing. Look, let's suppose for me you are truly an ancient monster. You had monies, you had stocks, you had bonds, you had preparations. The market crash hit. You were asleep. You missed the whole thing. You wake up. You're broke. Okay, that does suck. That does happen. But the fact of the matter is that if you have the wherewithal to stay alive at that point, you have the wherewithal to very quickly get yourself money. The very idea that you are going to be broke
redneck vampires.
Yeah, but even a redneck vampire ain't fucking broke.
It's true.
Now, would meth work on a vampire?
So
Okay.
in the world of
Go ahead.
darkness, drugs are in the blood. You can consume the drugs in the blood.
So you have to eat a meth head to consume meth.
Yes.
Yes.
So you have a bunch of vampires living down in the swamp that are addicted to meth, and they go around eating and killing the local meth heads, therefore cleaning up the community, but also they're meth heads.
But Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community.
No. See, I'm gonna show you how this works. I'm gonna show you how you go from 0 to money instantly. Okay. I am a vampire. I live down in Florida with Larry. I am broke, but I have the power to command animals. My gators come to me. Okay, I am now a guy who raises gators. I am going to set up a gator farm. My gators never escape. They never complain. They never argue. I'm going to get my gators high on fucking meth. Well, wait a minute. Won't the cops find my meth? Are they going to search the gators for my meth? No. Cool. I have gator meth. Well, who are you going to sell the gator meth to? I'm going to sell it to other vampires because other vampires want to get lit, and I have gator meth. It's like, what are they going to give you? Money, power, and anything else I happen to want from my gator meth.
No, Joe.
I think a meth head vampire that goes around killing meth heads in the swamps somewhere, but the cops decide to turn a blind eye because he's getting rid of the meth head problem in the town.
Legit.
It's a great premise for a story.
Hold up, guys. Let me explain to you the importance of gators in the criminal underworld of Florida.
Oh, you mean for getting rid of bodies and shit? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And meth gator, or was it cocaine gator? I don't know. There's a movie on Tubi about that.
It was
right.
meth gator. So I want to segue to an important cultural event that happened recently.
We're talking about the guy that was kidnapped by the dolphins for 3 days?
No, that's an old one.
Fuck True Blood. True Blood's such garbage. The Sucky Stackhouse books are terrible. Carry on.
I mean, the show at least had its moments. So did you guys see the burger wars that have started?
Yeah. Didn't I post the video of the RV CEO fucking the roast beef flaps?
I have
So-
participated in the burger war.
So hold up. Let me play this video for you here. We have the Wendy's CEO, the Burger King CEO, and the McDonald's CEO. And there's also the CEO of A&W, which I forgot was a thing. Now, respect to the Wendy's guy for actually cooking his own burger that he's eating.
Yo, have you guys seen the Wendy's training videos from the 90s?
Yes, I have. Those things are fucking ridiculous.
They are awesome.
But when we're done with this video, I will tell you guys how I have participated in the burger war. I am a veteran of the burger wars.
So, what did you guys think about this little bit of cultural shenanigans that was going online? People were complaining that the guy from McDonald's didn't know how to eat a goddamn burger. He ate it like a space alien.
Right?
That was
No,
like
it's true.
that was like Facebook dude trying to drink water at the Senate hearing.
Look,
Right.
look,
It's
Zuckerberg has crippling autism.
I don't know. I posted the RBC.
Yeah.
This was his
I'm not-
response.
I'm not sure that's the actual RB CEO. I think that's the guy
Oh no,
pretending to be.
that's definitely the actual RBC. I'm positive of it.
I mean, it's got a community though. This is a parody. It is not that.
Sus.
Anyway, so the Burger Wars room. Tell
yeah.
us about the Burger Wars.
So here's the thing. I obviously it's like sure the McDonald's dude ate a burger, cringe, stupid, whatever, right? I was looking around this afternoon and I was thinking, food. I need food. And I was like, do I want to cook? And I should cook. My brain said I should cook. But it's like, well, I just got paid. I just paid my bills. Yeah, I'll get some fast food. Fuck it. So I'm looking around. It's like, what do I want to get? What do I want to get? And I'm like looking at the various what is inexpensive. And it's like, okay, well, if I spend $15, I get a free Big Mac. Okay, so I'm looking at McDonald's menu and I'm like, what to get? What to get? Limited time offer the Big Arch. It's like, oh, that's the new burger. That's the one that the CEO failed to eat. Huh.
So
And
what
I
did
was
it
looking
taste
around.
like?
I was looking around. I was like, you know what? I will try this. So today, food recommendation moment. I have tried the Big Arch, and I am here to tell you what I thought of it. It's really kind of flavorless. It is a super bland burger. There's some kind of crunchy extra something. I don't know if it's bacon that is kind of interesting, but really it's like this is just the
You
most
don't know what was on your burger?
uninteresting. This is just like the most uninteresting burger I've ever had. And it doesn't even eat good in the sense that as I was nearing the latter end, it was falling apart in my hand.
I mean, a good burger should start to fall apart at some point.
I would prefer a burger hold enough mass for me to consume it first rather than get it all over my fucking hands. But the point is that just it's not a very impressive burger no matter what. So in addition to the CEO of McDonald's apparently eating a burger like an alien, right? He kept calling it the product. This is the big thing. He wouldn't just say the burger. He kept calling it the product, right? It's like, well, guess what? I had your product, you son of a bitch, and it ain't great.
See, I had a great burger today. We went to this little, it's like a Louisiana comfort food kind of place with like a desert twist. And
Okay.
I forget everything that was on it. Blue cheese, bacon, like pickled onions, like pickled red onions. That was good as fuck.
Yeah. So I do want
Got
to
some hush puppies.
pivot for a moment because we got some sad news about actual legend Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead. He has cancer. It's treatable but not curable. Evil Dead star Bruce Campbell revealed Monday that he has been diagnosed with a cancer that he says that is treatable if not curable. So the headline doesn't even make sense. Campbell said work will have to take a backseat while he's being treated. The 67-year-old actor posted a message to his fans on Twitter. We're not calling it X because it's stupid. Hi, folks. These days, when someone has health issues, it's referred to as an opportunity. So let's go with that. I'm having one of those. It's also called the type of cancer that's treatable, but treatable, not curable. I apologize for the shock. It was to me too. The good news is I'm not going into any more detail. I'm posting this because professionally, a few things will have to change. Appearances and cons and work in general will need to take a backseat to my treatment. My plan is to get well as I possibly can over the summer, so that I could tour with my new movie Ernie and Emma this fall. Blah blah blah. So
Well,
Bruce Campbell's got a case of the cancer.
well, this hurts more for me at least because there's something else that happens of a similar vein in the opposite direction. I'm actually looking at it here. I want to say the voice of Optimus Primal. Yeah,
Yes.
Gary Chalk, the voice of Optimus Primal, has won his battle with cancer. Right,
Mhm.
his cancer is in full remission. So, as one actor of we all love has defeated the demon, it is trying to claim another legend of our lifetime, and that's sad. That hurts me.
It does. It does. But let's talk about something really gay. We're going to talk about Elio.
Okay.
Peter Doctor says Pixar cut LGBTQ plus storyline from Elio because we're making a movie, not hundreds of millions of dollars of therapy.
Yeah.
Peter Doctor, the chief executive officer of Pixar, the director of Monsters Inc., Up, and Inside Out, so a person who actually knows how to make good things, recently told the Wall Street Journal why the studio decided to completely overhaul 2025's Elio and cut out the film's LGBTQ plus storyline. I mean, he was still obviously gay, but we'll put a fork in that. It basically it could have been gayer.
Larry's tag for his review. It could have been gayer.
That is almost the byline for 2025. What do we have to say about last year? It could have been gayer.
Doctor told the Wall Street Journal that Pixar didn't want to expose its young audience to things that they weren't ready to see.
The
or
name of Larry's
had
memoir.
discussed with their parents. He said, "We're making a movie, not hundreds of millions of dollars of therapy." Elio follows a lonely kid who looks to the stars for friends after being rejected as an outsider by other kids his age. Despite the clever premise, Wall Street Journal reports that the film tested poorly in early screenings, with most audiences saying they wouldn't pay to see it in theaters. In response, Doctor ordered a significant overhaul of the film, even though a significant chunk of the animation was completed. The overhaul led to the exit of the film's original director, Adrian Molina. Madeline Shafran and Dominique Shi then stepped in and made the significant changes to Elio. This included, according to the Wall Street Journal, removing moments that indicated the title character was gay. I saw the movie. You don't really need to be told this character is gay. It's pretty obvious. Previous versions of the films repeatedly reportedly showed Elio with a pink bike, and in a scene where he imagines life together with his male crush. There was also a scene where he does a fashion show wearing trash, called a Trashin' Show.
That's
So
kind of funny. I like that.
So again, this is extremely gay. He imagines life, blah blah blah. That was kind of to cut a transgender character from the Pixar animated series Win or Lose. Elio launched in June 2025, earning $150 million worldwide at the end of its run. That would be a stellar number if it weren't for the fact that the film cost $150 million to produce, not factoring global marketing costs. So yeah, we're not here to make gay things. We're here to make movies that people watch, like that Bride movie. You know, that's kind of the monsters are gay, but what if you have the monsters in the 1930s do cool shit in the 1930s, and then after they do the cool shit, you would talk about the interior lives of monsters, and you would be subtle about how the interior life of monsters is similar to gay and oppressed minorities, and then you could make the audience think.
All right,
That's simple
so
as a wildfire.
here's the thing. I don't want to go back into talking about that movie, but I want to talk about the abuse of actors for a minute, the misuse of really good actors, because this is not the first recent truly trash film Christian Bale has decided to stick his name to. All right, we should not forget that he was apparently the best thing in Thor: Love and Thunder, and that's a piece of shit. Okay,
Yes, but he was good in the scenes where he was allowed to play his character correctly.
right. You're gonna do a film about the Frankenstein's monster and the bride living as Bonnie and Clyde on the run. Okay, we'll operate on that principle. The story you tell with that film, right, needs to be a character piece. You don't ignore, but you don't emphasize the running, jumping, climbing trees, shooting stuff, bombacity of the outlaw lifestyle, right? You instead create a narrative that talks about the disparity between the monster who wants to continue doing the jobs and making the money because this is the life we have chosen, right? And the bride who's like, can't we fucking retire and just like make a kid? Can't we be domestic? Right? And you talk about things of a grander notion, like, is there a place for us in this world anywhere where we can just be us?
For sake of argument,
Right.
Feral Housewife is better than Domestic Housewife.
I mean, sure, but what I'm saying is that that's the story you tell, right? Give Christian Bale a chance to fucking unleash his acting chops and give the monster gravitas. Let the bride, whoever's playing her, actually really cut loose instead of just being like a. It's not hard, man. It's not hard to just do a good movie. You can even do it cheaper. You can make it a bottle film. You can put it in one hideout. But no, we've got to make it a grand social commentary, and then it just fucking sucks. Why would you do this when you have that actor? You have Christian Bale on fucking speed dial. The fuck are you doing with your life?
Or like, wouldn't it be a more interesting movie if you had the Creature as a stock market trader in the 1980s. Was very concerned about rewinding his videotapes.
Well, no, okay. Look, you want to make that joke, you make that joke, but it's like when somebody asks, "How did you get this fucked up?" It's like, "Well, she left me," right? Why is the Creature Patrick Bateman? Because the bride the fucking left him, and so now he's like, "I'm just gonna murder people." That's a more interesting story.
But I mean, like, no, but seriously, like the whole premise behind American Psycho about how
Right.
the executive financial class is like psychopaths. You could do something interesting with Frankenstein's monster being a Wall Street trader.
Right.
That could be a really interesting character study. That the like a protester saying, "You're an inhuman monster. Your bank moved this plant from my town, and everybody's hooked on meth." And he says, "Well, I don't know anything
Well,
about that other
look.
stuff, but I am an
Let's
inhuman monster."
Well, let's even cut Hollywood some slack. You want to mix it up. You want to do a movie called The Bride. Fine. It set it in the 90s, okay? And you have this beautiful woman who is a fucking girl boss. She is with it. She is the boss, right? She's an upper level executive. She's got the power suit. She is large. She is in charge. She's getting shit done, right? And then you reveal in the after about 20 minutes of seeing her be awesome, oh shit, there's my husband. Who's your husband? The Creature. How is he living? Oh, he's a fucking hobo, right? He's like a fucking meth head or a coked out fiend who can't afford it anymore. He's living in the shit. He shows up for money and support when he needs it, right? Because now you're playing with that idea. It's like, well, the bride can fit in because she's beautiful and she's confident, right? Adam is fucked up. He's got daddy issues and he's several hundred years old and he's just never been with it, right? And you
Right,
play with
but
this
I mean,
idea that he's living in a gutter because he thinks that's what he deserves, right?
right, but I mean, Rune, how can we just have women casually murdering people who tried to rape them?
Right.
Because that's what the movie really wanted to do. And that's part of why that movie was awful. But like, I had this idea that I think we could kill the rest of the show with. So, Rune,
I was gonna say I put a couple of videos in the chat.
Oh, well, here's the idea. So, I've talked about this on the show a lot. The X-Men works when it's a show about generational aspirations, right? And I realized something. There's no Gen Z X-Men characters in the pipeline. There's no Gen Alpha X-Men characters in the pipeline.
Well, that's because nobody knows what they are. The last time they tried to make new characters in the mutant sphere, it was the New Warriors, and it was awful. Because
you mean the New Mutants, not the New Warriors.
No, I do in fact mean New Warriors. That's the last major time new characters are being introduced. And the reason I use the New Warriors as the example is because it's like, okay, what is a mutant power that sounds cool? What if you were plugged into the internet, but like in your brain all the time? Right?
The New Warriors that didn't get published.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They actually have no idea what a good character makes.
What was the twin Safe Space or some shit?
Safe Space and Snowflake.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They think that's what appeals to the kids today.
So here's the reason why I thought this would be interesting to discuss. Because
I mean, they also do stupid shit like just make X-23 the new Wolverine.
Yeah,
and then make her gay and make her girlfriend Jubilee a vampire, which is really kind of fucking skeevy.
Well, didn't they make Jubilee a vampire back in the 90s?
No, they made her a vampire in the 2000s, and then they had her hook up with X-23, which is skeevy because Wolverine, the male one, was a mentor to her. So she couldn't be with Wolvie, so she hooked up with Wolvie's clone daughter, because that's not fucking gross at all, right?
But when I asked ChatGPT, it came up with some interesting options. One of those options is a kid whose power is he can see, interact with, and control Wi-Fi, which is a lesser form of electromagnetism. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And it talked about a character who had an emotional power where they were always on. They were always emotionally connecting the ring to people, like a severe empath. And a character whose mutant power is they turn off people's emotions. And I'm like saying, oh, these two characters are the ones who hook up in the comic book, obviously. So, like,
But if you have an empath and somebody who can like affect people's emotions, you kind of have to have them be a toxic couple.
I mean, they've already
Well-
got that. That's fucking Cyclops and White Queen. Cyclops is the most toxic fucking character imaginable, and I am tired of people trying to pretend otherwise.
I mean, if you're trying to make like a Gen Z and Gen Alpha X-Men, you kind of need to trickle some of those relational tropes into the story. Because at this point, theoretically, characters like Cyclops are kind of like the Professor. They're kind of like in the background, just kind of
Right, but here's
teaching
what
and
I'm
directing
getting at,
people.
though. Here's what I'm getting at, though. If you go with what they're giving us, right, the implication is that the only relationships that truly work are relationships of equal power where everyone understands each other on an instinctual level because one of them is a mind reader / mind rapist. That is fucking toxic.
Look. Scott has a very weird fetish where he's into telepaths.
Right, he's into having a woman tell him what to do, literally.
Especially the woman who
What we
turned
always
one of
say
the,
is it works because our autisms match. So
yeah. But
also,
Scott
she's a
also,
water sign and I'm an earth sign, so together we make mud.
that is terrible, Aaron.
You in fact found a way to say something so awful that Larry was stopped.
But I mean, let's not forget Scott and Jean. Jean's the one who made Scott's friend Bobby gay, which adds a whole nother weird fetish because when there was the Planet Mutant time, Wolverine and Scott and Jean were a throuple together, and I hate all those words.
Hey, listen,
I also hate that you said those.
We don't talk about plant people X-Men.
I mean, the only way I could read an X-Men book is if I just say, "Oh, those were all fake plant people, and none of the things that happened in Krakoa were real."
I mean, I hate it because it has given rise to this retardation I keep getting exposed to, where people are trying to say making the X-Men a civil rights analog was the worst thing that ever happened to the X-Men, and it's like,
well, hold up,
no,
hold up. Chris
Okay.
Claremont didn't even go all in on the stupidity. It was later people who were ripping Chris Claremont off who went all in on the stupidity, and that was the problem.
And
Right,
to
that's
be
the thing,
fair,
is
the first mini-series of Hickman's Plant People X-Men wasn't terrible. It was actually kind of interesting because you were kind of sitting there going like, okay, what's going on here? And we're kind of like, kind of hooked into the mystery. It was after Hickman got off of that era
You see,
where it really went insane.
See, I very much disagree because the entire setup was insane.
See, did you read it like week by week as they were coming out though, or did you read it all at once? Because me and Church were reading it because we were reviewing it week by week back when it was first coming out.
You see, I read two issues.
I have the entire. I actually have the entire thing because of that.
You see, I read it for 2 weeks and then I'm like, nah, bro, I'm out.
here's my thing. Okay, this is what I was trying to get at. The problem is not that X-Men is a civil rights analog. Okay, for a very specific window of time in the late 60s and the mid 70s, that was fucking gold. Okay,
But they didn't even go all in on that there. They layered that in.
right. The problem is that they've stayed there. They have continued to wallow in the civil rights narrative and tried to reshape it into all things for all people. And it's like, that doesn't work, because our relationship with those historical events has changed. We are not the same society we were 50 years ago.
Well, I mean,
Right.
for me, if I were writing the X-Men book, it would be like the original characters would be your stock boomer characters. Wolverine and Shadowcat and the characters that came in the 70s and early 80s, those would be your Gen X characters. The 90s add-ons, those would be your millennial characters. The only character I can think of note who fits in for the Zoom for the Gen Z crowd is like Quentin Quire maybe, but he's more like a late millennial. You know what I mean? That's how I set that all up. And like you have the generational conflicts as like your base layer.
Which is actually interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because it's something else was talked about with somebody else, which is they keep moving Spider-Man back to high school, and they won't let him out of high school because they seem to think that Spider-Man has to be in high school to be relatable. Spider-Man started at university, right?
He started. You mean the movies?
No, I'm talking about
he was in high
comics.
school in the movies.
No. He was in high school in the comics. Then he went to college. Then he graduated college. He graduated college during the Jimmy Carter administration.
Right. Here's the thing: even if my timeline is off because I was not there for original Spider-Man at the very beginning, the logic I was postulating is sound, which is that Spider-Man was an evolutionary character. He was moving forward, and they keep shunting him back because they believe that they can't evolve him anymore, which is not true, right? In that same sense, the X-Men are not supposed to exist in a fucking vacuum. They need to be allowed to move forward. Okay, and moving forward is not becoming plant people narco-terrorists. Jesus Christ. The very fact I have to say that hurts my brain.
I will say one of my favorite depictions of Peter Parker is from, I'm pretty sure it's Fantastic Four: The End, that like micro series of the End comics, where he's depicted as like he's like 53, kind of has a beer gut, is like balding a little bit.
Okay.
That I think is my favorite depiction of Peter Parker. He's just in the background, like he doesn't play any major role. He's just like part. So in Fantastic Four: The End, Reed Richards has come up with a way to extend human life indefinitely, and all this basically magic technology. And Earth is a utopia, and people are kind of bored, and so they have to like figure out different things to do because they just stopped aging because of magic bullshit technology. And yeah, so there's like
because yet again, Reed Richards was like asking, "Can I do a thing?" and didn't ask, "Should I do a thing?"
Right. Which that does actually play into the story later, but yeah, there's like a super city of all like the legacy heroes, I guess, for lack of a better word. And yeah, Peter Parker's in one of the scene as I think him and She-Hulk, because She-Hulk becomes a therapist and is actually his therapist because he's living by himself in a space station for like 30 years, just doing science, and like hasn't noticed that like Sue left him, and they haven't talked in like 15 years, and she's just like down in it, like under the ocean with Namor, just hanging out and exploring ancient ruins, because you're living indefinitely, so you're just taking up hobbies of shit to do. But yeah, they go back to Earth and are in this fantastical utopian super city, and yeah, Peter Parker is kind of there, and yeah, he's like 53, and I don't know, I love that depiction of like an old, like what would Spider-Man look like, after he's had some kids, they've grown, gone to college, like he's had to hang up the mask, but he still kind of wants to be Spider-Man. Like that's interesting to me.
I would like a comic with a very old Spider-Man called I Was Spider-Man, where like a
That'd be cool.
geriatric Peter Parker remembers what it was to be Spider-Man.
He's in like a retirement home, like telling stories to some attendant, and they don't believe him.
And nobody fucking believes him, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course,
Hold
because
up.
it's a comic book, he has to go on one last ride because
Hold up, hold
it's
up,
basically
hold
Bubba
up.
Hotep for Peter Parker.
That was exactly what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say.
God damn it! Can we get Bruce Campbell to be Spider-Man once? That'd be fucking amazing.
Okay,
I mean,
so since we're
that'd
on
be a
Spider-Man,
hilarious. That'd be a hilarious Sam Raimi thing.
so Nick Cage's Spider-Man Noir. Thoughts?
I haven't gotten to watch it yet. I don't even think it's out yet.
It's not
It's not.
May.
The trailer's out. Like
Couple
just
of
the
months.
concept. Just the
Trailer looked
concept
interesting.
of Nick Cage.
Well, no, it's not new. He's done it before. He was
Yeah,
the voice of
he's-
Spider Noir in the Across the Spider Universe film.
I think he voices like a video game too.
Yeah, he likes being Spider Noir, which is fine. But I suspect
Yeah.
the show is going to suck. We'll find out.
I don't know. I might actually watch it because
I suspect-
I have a man
I
crush on
suspect-
Nicolas Cage.
I suspect really two things. Nick Cage
I-
is going to do
I would
all of
let-
his
I would
parts
let him-
excellently.
I would let him turn my asshole into some like red cabbage, little
But
little
I
monkey
think
brain
I
kissing
think we're
my
gonna do two
boxers at the end of the night.
Nick Cage is going to do his parts excellently, but his parts are also going to be written in the form that they will not be written. They're just going to let Nick Cage do whatever the fuck he wants on camera, and that's actually going to be to the detriment of the piece. All right.
Fair.
I'm not saying Nick Cage can't act. I'm saying Nick Cage needs direction. If you give Nick Cage direction, he gives you gold. If you just let him do whatever the fuck he wants, he gives you madcap retardation. Which can still be gold, but it's not necessarily what you
also
want.
Gold.
But it's not necessarily what you
These two
want.
things, man.
Because here's the thing. Everybody who is a Nick Cage fan and can point to some movie where he's been ridiculous, that's fine. Go watch Longlegs. Nick Cage isn't on screen for more than 10 minutes of some of the scariest shit he has ever fucking done.
See, my
Alright.
favorite movies of his are when he gets just like Ghost Rider, Ghost Rider 2,
No, see,
the
that's the thing.
extreme
That's the thing.
weight of
No, see, here's the thing. That's the
awesome
example. I
talent.
think that him as Johnny Blaze was inspired casting. I think he was very good. The problem is the people writing that shit were fucking terrible. All right? And it's made worse by the fact that most people haven't fucking read Ghost Rider. Because I hate to tell people, but Ghost Rider 1 is more or less a fucking Ghost Rider comic.
Yeah.
More or less. Right? And it's like, well, what about Ghost Rider 2? It's like, that was somebody's fever dream. That is not Ghost Rider at all. That is
Well,
fucking
There's some
awful.
wonderfully unhinged moments in that movie though that I love.
Oh,
So,
sure, and they got Christopher Lambert because he needed to pay for his rent, but that doesn't mean it's good. It's also another movie with Idris Elba that really shouldn't have him because he's a much better actor than that garbage.
so guys, we're gonna wrap because we've
We out.
we've done our 2 hours and see y'all in a week. Ah.
We've done our
Say the
time.
thing.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.